I first saw her in the ash fields beyond Outpost Kestrel, where the sky was always the color of bruised steel and the wind carried the taste of burned metal. She was kneeling in the dust. At first glance, she looked small, too small for the wasteland. Her clothes were torn, streaked with soot and dried blood. Her dark hair clung to her face in tangled strands, and one sleeve hung empty where fabric had been ripped away. She wasn't armed. She wasn't armored. And she definitely didn't look like someone worth risking my life for. Which is exactly why I stopped. Because nobody survived alone in the ash fields. My name is Elias Varn. I'm a salvage runner. One of the unlucky few who make a living digging through the remains of dead battlefields between human colonies and whatever else lives out here. The official war ended 5 years ago. The killing didn't. I kept my rifle aimed at her. Stand up slowly, I called. She didn't. Instead, she looked up at me. Her eyes were wrong. Not alien wrong in the obvious way. No glowing pupils or strange colors. They were silver gray, sharp and clear despite the grime on her face.
But there was something steady in them.
Something calculating. I can't, she said softly. My leg is broken. Her voice was steady too. Not panicked. Not pleading. Just calm. I should have left her there. But there was no visible weapon. No hidden movement in the surrounding dunes. My scanner showed no life signs except hers. And against my better judgment, I lowered my rifle. She said her name was LYR. No last name. No colony tag. No identification chip. Just LYR. Her leg wasn't broken. It was dislocated and badly bruised, but salvage runners see worse every week. I set it back in place while she clenched her teeth and made no sound. Not even when I forced the joint into alignment. That should have been my first real warning. Most people scream. She didn't. You're not from any settlement near here, I said as I wrapped her leg in synth bandage. No, she replied. Crash survivor? Yes. The answers came too easily. I helped her to her feet. She leaned against me as if exhausted, fragile, barely conscious. Her body felt light, almost too light. We started toward my crawler, half buried behind a ridge. You shouldn't be out here alone, I said. I'm not, she answered quietly. I glanced at her. She was staring at the horizon. Outpost Kestrel wasn't much. Just a fortified ring of steel walls and scavenged ship parts welded into something resembling civilization. The gates opened reluctantly when they saw me approach with a stranger. Found her in the ash fields, I told the guards. Unarmed. They searched her roughly. She didn't resist. Didn't protest. No implants. No hidden tech. Just a thin metallic band around her wrist. What's this? One of the guards asked. Decoration, she said. He snorted but let it go. Inside the walls, people stared. Outsiders weren't rare, but lone survivors without a traceable origin were. I took her to my quarters. A single room above my workshop, smelling of oil and recycled air. I gave her water.
Food.
A blanket. She sat on the edge of the cot, hands folded in her lap, eyes quietly studying everything. You're safe here, I said. She looked at me like she found the idea amusing. Safe, she repeated. That night, I lay awake longer than usual. I told myself it was because of the extra presence in the room, but deep down I knew it was something else. She wasn't afraid. Not once. Over the next few days, she played her role perfectly.
Weak.
Grateful.
Quiet.
She limped convincingly, though I noticed she never actually lost balance. She asked simple questions about the outpost, about human settlements, about trade routes. Too curious for someone supposedly traumatized. But I ignored it. Loneliness does strange things to a man. She started helping in the workshop, handing me tools, cleaning components. Her hands were precise, delicate, efficient. "You've done this before," I said one afternoon as she dismantled a plasma coil faster than most trained techs. She paused just slightly. "On my ship," she replied. "What kind of ship?" "Large." That was all she offered. The attack came at dusk. 3 raider skiffs burst over the perimeter walls in a spray of sparks and gunfire. Alarms screamed. The outer gate exploded inward. I grabbed my rifle and ran. She followed. "Stay inside," I shouted. She didn't listen. Raiders flooded the main corridor, armored, masked, moving with brutal efficiency. They weren't scavengers. They were hunting. A grenade detonated near the fuel depot. Fire roared upward. I fired into the chaos, pulling civilians toward cover. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw something impossible. One of the raiders lunged at Lyr. She moved. Not clumsily, not weakly. She pivoted with terrifying grace, twisted his wrist, and disarmed him in a single fluid motion. The rifle spun into her hand. She fired once. Perfect shot. Center visor. The raider dropped. For a heartbeat, she stood differently. Not hunched. Not fragile. Straight-backed. Balanced. Powerful. Then she staggered again, as if remembering her role. I stared. Lyr. More raiders poured in. And then everything changed. The sky darkened. Not with smoke. With ships. Massive silhouettes emerged from the clouds, sleek, angular vessels unlike anything in human design. Their hulls shimmered with shifting metallic light. Every raider froze. Every guard stopped firing. The ships hovered silently above the outpost. Then beams of pale energy lanced downward, disabling the raider skiffs without destroying them. Precision.
Control.
A voice echoed across the outpost, amplified and clear. "In the name of the sovereign dominion, lay down your weapons." The raiders dropped their guns immediately, not out of fear, out of recognition. I turned slowly toward Lyr. She wasn't limping anymore. Her posture had changed completely, chin lifted, shoulders squared. The metallic band on her wrist glowed faintly. From the largest ship descended a column of light. Figures emerged.
Tall.
Armored in silver black plating. Helmets crested with narrow visors. They moved with disciplined silence, forming a line before her. And then, they knelt. Every single one of them. The lead figure removed his helmet, revealing sharp, angular features and eyes the same silver gray as hers. "My Empress," he said, bowing his head. The word hit like a physical blow. Empress. The weak, injured woman I carried from the ash field stepped forward. "I trust," she said calmly, her voice no longer soft but commanding, that the retrieval was discreet. "Yes, Your Radiance." She glanced at me. Something unreadable flickered in her gaze. "I required confirmation," she said. "And now I have it." I swallowed. Confirmation of what? She stepped closer. "That humanity is not yet what my council believes it to be." The armored soldiers remained kneeling. My entire outpost was silent. "You pretended," I said quietly. "Yes."
Why?
Her eyes softened, just slightly. Because power reveals nothing. Power intimidates. Power distorts truth. She looked at the burning sections of the outpost. "But vulnerability," she continued, "reveals everything." Her empire, the sovereign dominion, had been observing human territories for years. Testing. Evaluating. Some within her council believed humanity was too violent. Too unpredictable. A threat that should be eliminated before it grew stronger. She disagreed. But disagreement required proof. So she staged her own disappearance. Crash signatures, false distress signals, carefully leaked coordinates. She knew raiders would attack. She knew someone might find her.
She didn't know who.
It happened to be me. You risked your life, she said quietly, repeatedly, for someone you believed powerless. I laughed bitterly. You weren't powerless. She tilted her head. That is not the point. Her soldiers secured the outpost perimeter. Medical drones extinguished fires. Damaged structures were repaired with technology decades beyond ours. No one questioned her authority. They simply obeyed. She turned to leave. The column of light descended again. Wait, I said.
She paused.
Was any of it real?
I asked.
The injury, the weakness. The injury was real, she said. The weakness was not. And me. She studied me for a long moment. You were unexpected. The faintest curve touched her lips. I did not anticipate caring whether you survived. That admission landed heavier than the revelation of her empire. You're leaving, I said. Yes. The word felt final. Her soldiers rose. The beam brightened, and then she stepped back into it.
Gone.
The Dominion ships vanished as silently as they had arrived. They left the outpost intact. Protected. They left supplies. Advanced medtech. Power generators. They left us stronger than before. But they took her. Weeks passed. Life returned to routine, though nothing felt the same. People whispered about the Empress who had walked among us in rags, about the human who had carried her through ash and fire. I tried to forget, tried to convince myself it had been a strange dream, until the transmission came. A Dominion vessel appeared in orbit, alone this time. A single message was broadcast directly to my workshop console. Her face filled the screen, not in torn clothes, in regalia. Dark metallic armor that shimmered like starlight. A circlet resting against her brow.
Elias Varn, she said.
My name sounded different in her voice. My council has reached its conclusion. I held my breath. They believe humanity has value. A pause. They believe you have value. I almost laughed. That's generous. Her gaze sharpened. I have extended a proposal, she continued. An alliance. Shared technology. Shared borders. Why me? I asked. Because symbols matter, she replied. You represent the choice I made. The screen flickered slightly. And because, she added more quietly, I wish you at my side. My heart pounded. You don't need me, I said. That is true, she answered without hesitation. But I want you. Silence stretched between us, vast as space. You pretended to be powerless, I said slowly. Yes. Are you pretending now? Her expression didn't change.
No.
Outside, the Dominion ship hovered like a silver star. If I say no, I asked. Then I will respect it, she said. And I will ensure your world remains protected regardless. That was the difference. No manipulation. No force.
Just choice.
I looked around my workshop, the only life I had ever known. Then I looked at her. At the woman who had walked through fire without fear. At the Empress who had knelt her entire empire before a truth she believed in. I'll need better clothes, I said finally. For the first time since I'd met her. She laughed. And somewhere beyond the sky, an empire waited. When I stepped into the beam of light that carried me upward, I didn't feel like a savior. I didn't feel like a hero. I felt like a man who had once carried a wounded stranger across the ash fields and discovered she had never been powerless at all. She had simply chosen to be. And now, as the stars opened before us and her empire unfolded in radiant arcs of silver and gold, I understood something that no council, no fleet, no war could measure. True power isn't proven by domination. It's proven by restraint. She had pretended to be powerless until her empire arrived. But by then, she no longer needed to prove anything, and neither did I.